St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall, in love that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and beavercountyradio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
Happy, snowy, oh my gosh, the commute was crap. You know who made it to work today? Tom Young made it to work today. The first hour of Teleforum this morning is with Tom Young of First Consultants. How you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing wonderfully terrific.
All right.
I got up early this morning and went to my office and salted the sidewalks up there. Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't get an abundance of snow, but it was a nuisance of 2 inches anyway that's out there.
It was happening while people were trying to start their morning.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what it was.
Absolutely. And we've got this frigid temperatures. It was only 17 degrees. So that makes the snow a little bit more powdery. It was powdery this morning and not heavy.
It was angel making snow, not heart attack making snow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was easy. I have this thing, and this is an advertisement. It's called the Dakota Blade. And it has a handle, mm-hmm. and I push it, and it has a small 3-foot blade, and it's such an angle. Some engineer thought this thing up and created it.
Studied it.
My parking lot in the back of my building is 60 by 100. And this morning, the snow that was on the parking lot was maybe 1.5 inches of, dusty type snow.
Fluffy.
I cleaned the parking lot in 15 minutes. Just walking behind the blade. It has an angle that it really pushes the blade. This thing's under $150. I've got 2 of them. And so there's my advertisement for the guy that created Dakota Blade.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think in Dakota they just call it a blade?
I have no idea, but you can go on the internet and just click in Dakota Blade.
There you go.
You'll find this thing, and it will make your shoveling of snow easier than you ever thought you could.
You're going to freak this guy out because I'm sure it's an entrepreneur, and he's why am I getting all these orders from Beaver County, Pennsylvania?
I have several neighbors that have one now because they saw me out there just walking along the sidewalk, and I cleaned 200 feet of sidewalk in like 5 minutes. Don't have to lift an inch of snow on a shovel, and it works great. It works great. Hey folks, I'm Tom Young, the life coach, the business coach. We're here to change your future. We're going to talk about the Eagle today. I'm going to talk a little about some different things. But I'm an author. I've written several books. Life Insurance Will It Pay When I Die was actually my first book. The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project, Jumpstart Your Financial Freedom, Financial Mastery Coaching, The Blueprint, co-authored a book with Kim Butler called Live Your Life Insurance. And we're really, my purpose is really to open your mind so that you can actually see the opportunities that are there for everybody. And so much of us are blinded and can't see that. We start every show that I do with a prayer for everybody. The COVID virus come out of the Wuhan lab that's operated by the CCP of China. Did you get the message, folks? This thing is going on, and it's affected people's health around the world. People have lost loved ones. So we pray for those who have had their health impaired, those who have lost loved ones, and we pray especially for the loved ones who have been lost, that the Lord would gather them into his kingdom of heaven above. We pray now for Ukraine and Russia, this thing going on, these crazy men that can't get together and solve problems without shooting and killing each other and blowing up buildings. Israel is the same way right now, so we pray for peace in the world. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
I look at everybody, Eddie, and I look inside. I have X-ray vision like Superman. Here, you saw it.
Yeah.
And I can see right inside your chest. And there's a little cage inside your chest.
Okay.
And it's got an eagle in it.
An eagle?
And you don't even know it's in there. Now, you know my coin story.
Yes.
So I want to share that with people out there that don't know me and they have never been close enough to me for me to recognize them and give them a coin. You know, the little copper coins.
I remember it very well.
The copper
I know.
coin, it's an ounce of copper about the size of a silver dollar. On one side of it, it says 1ST, First, okay?
Yeah.
And that represents my company, First Consultants, Inc., but it also represents in a relationship between you and I, whether it's personal, business, or whatever it is, you will always be first. That is the rule on that coin. And underneath of that, in little fine print down on the bottom, you see on the coin, it says, "In God we trust."
Yeah.
We never, ever forget that because he is the maker of everything that exists on the planet that was naturally created by God as resources for all of the things that we're sitting here, the computer, my iPad, everything that's going on was created from the resources that God left for everybody that he created in the beginning. So now if you turn the coin over to the backside, there's a hologram of my building in Beaver, my 100-year-old office building that I bought was a house, and the gentleman that was there, he was an old retired minister, and he sold drapery one time for Gimbels. You remember Gimbels in Pittsburgh? And you know, it was a department store years ago, and this guy worked for them. He was a minister, but he also sold drapes. So when I went into this place, it was like walking into the 1950s. He had these big, dark, heavy wool drapes from the ceiling to the floor over all the windows, and all the carpeting in the building, Eddie, was wool carpeting. It was just, and it was a hoot when I converted the. Anyway, back to my coin story, and the most important thing on that coin, there is also a little hologram of the head of an eagle, and when I look in your eyes, I see an eagle in your heart. I know that everybody on the planet has potential, and most people don't even know that it exists. So that eagle represents what I believe that resides inside your heart. There's an eagle in a cage in there, and I, every day of my life, help people open the cage door and let the eagle fly.
Why don't people know it's in there? You would think they would know because it's in them.
Because the rest
spirit
of the world tells you it's not there, Eddie. This leads into everything I'm going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. But that eagle, I spend every day encouraging people and convincing people to have faith and belief in themselves. And when that eagle gets out and flies, only then does dreams and goals in life start to come true. You know, you look around and we all see America's Got Talent. I love that show because you see these 10 and 12-year-old kids on there, people that never been recognized for anything, but all of a sudden here is this wonderful, wonderful talent that came from God above. Well, what was it? It was that talent, that eagle that was inside of them, that somehow they figured out how to unlock it and let it out.
I want to ask you a question. You said these 10 and 12-year-olds, as we get older, does it become more difficult to let the eagle out?
I think as we become more grown up,
we
are more impacted by our environment and our atmosphere. We all have an atmosphere, Eddie. Mm-hmm. It's like the little character in the Peanuts that the cloud follows him around.
Pigpen.
Is that Linus or Pigpen?
No, Linus had a crush on Lucy. Pigpen was the cloud.
Yeah, you know, and he just carried this cloud with him. So we all have an atmosphere. You know, here's a question for you. Have you ever been around somebody else that after you was around them a minute and you just didn't want to be there anymore?
I think I'm that for people.
You know, because everybody
all
walks around with their own atmosphere, and sometimes it just stinks.
Yeah.
You know, there are people that's a problem also. So we won't go. You know, but we all have an atmosphere that we bring with us.
Absolutely, we do.
And that atmosphere helps to determine your future, our atmosphere, the environment, because you are where you are in life because you made all the decisions in your life that brought you to this moment in time. Is that not true, Eddie?
100% true.
100%. So if you're not where you want to be, something has to change. And what it is, it's the way we think. In other words, we have to be aware of our environment, and we have to be aware of the atmosphere that's around us, this thing we carry with us every day, everywhere we go. Now, where am I going with this? When you become aware that you are where you are because of the decisions you made in life. Now, what led you to make those decisions wasn't that your experiences in life and the people that you experienced. In other words, people create examples. We are subject to examples. And the first professional talk I ever did was called the BTE talk. Be the example. In other words, are you an example for others, good or bad or otherwise, in your life? That is the greatest responsibility that exists anywhere, is that example that you and I have to set every day. And it can be a conscious decision that I'm going to be positive. Now you've known me a long time, Eddie. Mm-hmm. I don't get negative. I fight negative. I'm Mr. PMA, positive mental attitude.
Startlingly upbeat is how I would describe you.
I like it that way. Mm-hmm. It's more fun being upbeat. Than blah, 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 blah.
It's healthier to be upbeat than to be disgruntled physically. Everything. It
absolutely is. And you know, I've talked about self-talk. Mm-hmm. You know, we have to program ourselves for our success. And we do that by creating self-talks. You know, and I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment. And I here now promise to render such action. I know the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become.
30 minutes a day.
Every day.
Every day.
That is in the shower in the morning.
It's a conscious thing.
It's up to you, Eddie. It's up to you.
You're right.
You know, we live in a free country, thank God.
Yeah.
We live in the greatest country in the world, even with all the problems that we have and being purposely caused right now, and I will say that with diligence. But we still have free will. You can do, be, and become anything you want to be if you believe, if you have faith in yourself and have belief. Your future will be the result of your imagination or someone else's. You have to have a dream or someone else will. That's like where you work. The guy that owns the company's got a dream, and you're making his dream come true, not yours. You're living paycheck to paycheck, getting a paycheck, and not getting ahead. And 95% of the people end up dead or dead broke. And why is that? Because we're programmed that way. We're programmed to lose. And I see it. We're already.
Okay.
Where does the time go, Eddie?
You're all right.
I talk too much.
No, you don't. What you say to me is extremely interesting.
It is. You know, we have to create a vision in our mind. You have to see it in your mind before it will become a reality.
Percentage-wise, how many people in this country do you think are capable of thinking that way?
Are capable?
Are we all capable?
I believe so.
Okay.
I mean, even the unfortunate kids that have been born with, Downs, and we have seen some of those. There was a young man on America's Got Talent, mm-hmm. and he was blind, and he played the piano and sang, and he blew the roof off the house, and he was so-called ADD. He was challenged.
Right.
But
so why don't
talent? Somebody found that talent and helped him bring it out. I believe that exists inside pretty much everybody.
How many people act on it? How many people act on it I understand what you're saying. That exists in everybody.
Well, it comes back to faith and belief. And, God didn't create any junk. There is a purpose for everything, and I'm not qualified to even talk about what I'm talking about right now. I know the experiences I've had in my own life and where I came from. I mean, I grew up in a household. My mother and dad loved each other. I mean, there was love in the household. I graduated high school with a D-. They were glad I sort of left. I graduated, but I was auto shop, vocational auto shop. I had no desire for college or any of that because I didn't think I was worthy to go to college. Those preppy kids I went to school with.
Yeah.
And I went back to some reunions, and I come to realize today that it worked out pretty good for me compared to a lot of the other ones that in the beginning, they were hot stuff.
Early achievers.
The early achievers didn't figure it out. And so our vision, that vision of who you could be, that's what I focus on. Whether I'm working with somebody in developing, financial security for their future, for their family, paying for college for their kids, or how we're doing all, there has to be a basic set of principles that I use to accomplish that. And I know we're getting close to news. We all have a photographic memory. See, and we don't apply it. We have learned a lot in our lives. We've experienced a lot. The more chronologically gifted we are.
That's such a polite phrase.
That other word, that OLD word, I don't like it. I don't use it.
Right.
We're chronologically gifted. But those experiences in our lives, they are a stepping stone to success. And we don't realize it. And if you don't think you don't have a photographic memory, let me challenge you a little bit. Can you remember a time where you were you had a dream, or you're driving down the road in your car, and all of a sudden the video screen of your mind comes up, and some event in your past, it is like Hollywood created the movie. There it is in color, and just re-experiencing something you had experienced in the past. Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, yeah.
I think everybody has.
Yeah.
So that immediately tells me that in your archives down in there, guess what? It's there.
Down.
Everything is there. So we all have a photographic memory. What we don't do is we don't practice recall. I have a photographic memory with total and complete recall of everything I see, read, and hear with total and complete understanding. And I've said that to myself 1,000 times.
Tom Young is my guest. We're going to do news and come back. Tell people how to get in touch with you quick. Tell them quick. Let's get news.
FirstConsultantsInc.com website. There's right at the top of the website, there's a calendar. You can put an appointment in there, a Zoom appointment, or a phone call, 724-728-6820. I challenge you. Come and spend 45 minutes with me.
More with Tom after news. News next on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
The Lenten season is just around the corner, and Our Lady of the Valley Parish is inviting you to one of the best Lenten fish fries in the Valley at the St. Cecilia Hall on California Avenue in Rochester. The fish fries get underway on Friday, February the 16th, and will be every Friday throughout the Lenten season from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. They will have fish sandwiches, fried for $11 or baked for $12. Fish dinners are $13 and shrimp dinners are $14. There's also a Chesapeake Bay dinner for $15 that includes fish, shrimp, and crab cakes. Dinners also include coleslaw and a choice of French fries, mac and cheese, or pierogies. There's yummy pie for dessert, but that's a little bit extra. You can eat in, you can take out, or they'll deliver from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Credit cards are also accepted. Call 724-775-3775 or 724-709-7426.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the Best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com. Beaver County Radio's news source, 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Good morning. On this Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, the Beaver County weather forecast is calling for a mix of clouds and sun today with falling temperatures throughout the day and a high of 18 degrees. We'll go over the full details of your Beaver County weather forecast following this look at news. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that firefighters were called to what will become a fatal fire in Ohioville. The call to 911 came in just after 5 p.m., claiming that there was an entrapment at the facility that caught fire. A man was pronounced dead at the scene. His name has not been released, nor has any additional information. There has been a growing concern about the rising overall age of Beaver County residents, and the lack of increasing population has only amplified these concerns. Beaver County Commissioner Jack Manning joined Eddie Crow on Teleforum yesterday to explain what this combination could lead to in the future.
It's not just new residents; it's on no growth. I mean, if we aren't growing the economy, if we aren't building more houses, attracting more people in, then that as that shrinks, the size of government doesn't necessarily shrink in an equal amount to the population, right? There are still needs out there. And in some cases, when you have an aging population, you have more needs and more funding necessary to deal with seniors and other folks with health issues and the like that causes you to have a lot of government services.
The full interview with Commissioner Manning can be seen on the Facebook and YouTube pages for Beaver County Radio. Beaver Valley Regional Police are investigating a stabbing that took place in Rochester on Sunday evening. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that police responded to a fight that was centered at 616 Deer Lane Extension on Sunday just past 8 p.m. When they arrived, they found blood all over the kitchen and the victim needing medical attention. The severity of the victim's health necessitated a call for Lifeline to transport him to the nearest medical facility. According to a press release, the police have determined that there is no threat to public safety. A U.S. company's lunar lander will soon burn up in Earth's atmosphere after a failed moonshot. Pittsburgh-based Astrobotic Technology says its lander is now headed back from the vicinity of the moon. Company officials expect the mission to end Thursday. They stressed that the lander poses no safety risk during its fiery re-entry. The lander rocketed from Florida last week. It quickly developed a fuel leak that forced Astrobotic to abandon its attempt to make the first U.S. lunar landing in more than 50 years. Pennsylvania U.S. Senator John Fetterman is joining Iowa Senator Joni Ernst to introduce the Consistent Egg Labels Act to combat mislabeled information on egg alternatives and egg substitutes. The bill was introduced to Congress on Friday. This bill would require the FDA to issue guidance for nationwide enforcement of mislabeled egg alternatives within 180 days and require the FDA to report to Congress 2 years after enactment on actions taken with respect to the food that is misbranded. This legislation would also nullify any guidance with respect to eggs or egg products that is not consistent with its standards. Currently, there are no requirements for egg alternatives to be clearly distinguished from eggs and egg products, despite not having the nutritional value of eggs. Senator Fetterman said, quote, Pennsylvania's egg producers work tirelessly to produce an inexpensive, accessible, and healthy source of protein for consumers. Our Commonwealth is the fourth largest egg-producing state in the country, making eggs a critical part of Pennsylvania's agricultural and economic strength. The Consistent Egg Labels Act will protect farmers and consumers by prohibiting eggs alternatives from misrepresenting themselves. Again, that is from Senator John Fetterman. And Elton John has achieved the monumental EGOT status. The famed British singer-pianist secured an Emmy Award on Monday night for Outstanding Variety Special for his Disney Plus special Elton John Live Farewell from Dodger Stadium. John says he was incredibly humbled for joining the elite group of winners of Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Awards. David Furnish, his husband and producer on the concert special, says an overjoyed John screamed out loud when he heard about winning his first ever Emmy. He says an incredibly honored John wasn't able to attend the award ceremony since he's recovering from recent surgery. John became the 19th person to reach EGOT status after Viola Davis achieved the feat when she won a Grammy last year. Other performers who have EGOTs include Whoopi Goldberg, Jennifer Hudson, and John Legend.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
A mix of clouds and sun today with falling temperatures throughout the remainder of the day and a high of 18 degrees. Clear skies tonight with a low of 10. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 21. Cloudy with evening snow showers Thursday and a high of 27. Cloudy Friday with a high of 24. This newscast is being brought to you by MRS Physical Therapy with 2 locations, one in Bridgewater and one in Granbury. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com for more information. That's a look at news for now. I'm Matt Durzik for Beaver County Radio News, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and streaming worldwide at beavercountyradio.com. When you're making your New Year's resolutions this year, be flexible. Call MRS Physical Therapy now and ask about their special 25-minute stretching experience, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, or PNF, a stretching technique utilized to increase range of motion and flexibility by decreasing muscle tension and increasing neuromuscular efficiency. And the cost is just $39. It's the perfect way to start out the new year. We all know people with low back pain, shoulder pain, or foot ankle pain, and many of these conditions could be prevented by simply working on flexibility as much as strength. Give the gift of health to yourself or someone you know and start the new year with less pain and more to look forward to. Call MRS Physical Therapy in their Cranberry or Bridgewater offices at 724-728-7550 for more information.
Where the listeners of Beaver County have a voice. Teleforum with Eddie Crow. 724-843-1888. 724-774-1888.
Tom, it's 14. It's 14 degrees right now, so we got that going for us. 36 minutes after 9. Tom Young of First Consultants is my guest. The first hour absolutely flew. It started with "There's an eagle in my chest that I didn't know about," and it is frustrating because you are upbeat and you're going to see the potential in everybody, and it's got to be frustrating to see that they don't see that.
It is, Eddie, and I mean, even my own self. In other words, I look at where I'm at, and I'm always thinking, why aren't I further ahead than I am now? And when I say further ahead, it isn't just it isn't money. I have a nice lifestyle.
What is it?
It's I haven't touched enough people. My goal in life is to touch 1 million lives before I graduate.
Okay.
In some way to positively impact those people, to help them find their way, find the eagle that exists inside them, and let it out. And we are so blocked by that. What is the vision created for us by everybody else? And what do I got now? I got on my phone. I got somebody.
That's all right.
I get these. Come on, get off of that.
Part of me really wants to encourage you to answer it and mess with them.
Anyway, but I have gentlemen looking West Africa.
Hi, West Africa.
On there right now.
Okay.
And then they try to call me on the phone, and I can't do that. But this vision that's created for us is created for us by Wall Street, by the banks, by the Federal Reserve, and by the government and the politicians that want to control our lives.
I have a question. Where do you put advertising?
Right on top. Oh,
I mean, is that a part of all of it?
Part of it is also advertising, and that's where I want to talk about, because it's like the game of life is trickery. We're trying to get ahead, and people are tricking us. Now, this new thing that's going on is blowing me away. The AI. Do you see the advertisements on the internet that are absolutely AI created? They aren't real. They have stolen people's voice. They have stolen their image, and now it makes it sound like this famous person, and here's the message, and they're not promoting that message. That's the beginning, Eddie. It's going to get worse.
It is going to melt people's heads.
It is. It is.
And straight up, look up AI George Carlin. They put together
Oh, yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's the latest one, and it's absolutely terrifying. And you're an optimist. I'm a pessimist. I don't believe that the American public has the capability of recognizing it, and
No.
they are stealing people's images,
No, they're stealing people's images for the purpose of stealing people's money.
making them lie.
It is, and so this thing about the world and the Federal Reserve is what's going on now. Right now, the current message the Federal Reserve is putting out is well, I think we're okay. We're going to start lowering the interest rates in the spring. That's the latest message of the Federal Reserve. It's an absolute bold-faced lie. Now, they are going to lower the interest rates, but lowering the interest rates isn't for you and I, Eddie, because inflation has not gone away. No. Now we got to step back. Now let me step back a minute and talk about the interest rate. Now, I have a list. The interest rate, they started to raise the interest rates in March of 22. Mm-hmm. When they said the inflation was out of hand, it was 6-8. I mean, I get Social Security, so I got 8% increases and a 2.5% increase in the last 3 years. So it's almost a 20%. So your dollar today from 3 years ago is worth 80 cents.
Not helpful.
You lost 20 cents in the last 3 years because of these bozos that are running the show. Now, in March of 22, now there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's been 11 interest rate increases, going from 0.25 to 0.50 to 5.25 to 5.5. So what is that? 1,000% increase in the rate in
3 years?
A little more than a year. March
of
22 to July of 23, okay? So here we are, and as far as I see, I haven't seen inflation going away. I think gasoline prices have come down a little bit because people aren't driving as much. They can't afford to drive, so there isn't as many people using oil, and so that demand is down, which causes business to lower the price when demand is down to get you to buy more. It's business. Now, the Federal Reserve, in the last 20 years, with that low interest rate environment we've been in, where the interest rates got down to 0.25% interest, and the bonds that were created. Now, banks, when you put $1 in the bank, they have to have a reserve. An average of 5% gets set aside in what is referred to as Tier 1 money. That's the core reserve of the bank. Then they take the asset that you put up for collateral, go to the Federal Reserve window and borrow the money again from the Federal Reserve at 0.25% interest.
Using my stuff.
And then they loan it out a second time, and they get another piece of collateral, and they go back to the Federal Reserve. You get the idea. They do that on average 7 times. So they turn $1 7 times in the new money from nothing. Okay?
And my
Federal Reserve.
My dollar just lost 20 cents.
And when the Federal Reserve wants to increase economic activity, I won't call it growth, it's not, it's activity. They print up more money, and then they buy these bonds from the banks, from the government, and push more cash into society that they printed for nothing to buy these bonds.
That's sweet.
So Eddie, that is pure inflation. That is what so they caused all the inflation. It isn't you and I wanting a raise at work. That's a bunch of horse pucky, and I'll be nice in my words today because I'm peeved at everything that's going on, and it's blinding people, and they're not seeing what's happening, and I'm afraid that come election this year, people, because they are blinded wrongly, they can't see what's going on, they're going to vote wrongly in the election this year. So here's the Federal Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve has $8 trillion of money on their balance sheet. What is that? Bonds. They have bought these low interest rate bonds. Now,
paper.
Some very basic economics. If I have a bond, Eddie, and it's yielding to me 3% interest or 2% interest, and I want to sell my bond, I want to turn it back to money, I want to liquidate it. But the new bonds in the marketplace are paying 5.25%. Will you buy my bond? It's only yielding 2%, Eddie. Will you buy my bond? It's only yielding 2%. You can go buy a brand new one paying you 5.25%. No.
Money.
So now my bond would be sold at a big discount. In other words, it might only get 75 or 80 cents on the dollar. So that whoever buys it, the 2% coupon for what they paid would be the equivalent of 5.25%. Do you understand that? What I paid is a discounted price. I'm still going to get the 2% interest, but based on what I paid, the 2% would be the equivalent of the 5.25% on a new bond. That's what's going on in the marketplace.
Tom, forgive me. That's gibberish. That's papers being handed back and forth with different numbers.
That's the whole point of this little bit I'm talking about, Eddie, is the Federal Reserve is sitting for the first time in the history of the Federal Reserve that was created in 1913. If you want to read a great book, go look for the book in your library called The Creature of Jekyll Island. It was a bunch of wealthy bankers and rich people that wanted this thing created, just like the income tax in America that was created about the same time. They wanted to be in control. So the Federal Reserve, the banking cartel, as I refer to it, they make their own rules.
They referred to them as that themselves early on, didn't they?
Banking cartel.
Yeah.
And they didn't think that would fly, so the government accepted, and then they became called the Federal Reserve, and there's nothing federal about them. So the point being right now is the Federal Reserve says, we're going to make it better. We're going to lower the interest rates this spring. I think we've done enough. All they're doing, Eddie, is they're bailing their own balance sheet out because they're in the red for the first time in the history of the Federal Reserve. That $8 trillion worth of low-interest bonds that they're sitting on have gone down in value, and they're in the red. Now, the other point to that, how do I prove that? In the last year, and I don't have the list in front of me, but the SVB Bank in California, remember that bank? It was the 12th largest bank in America.
There was Cali, and then there was another one in Jersey.
There was Republic, and there's another one, Century. There's about 8 or 10 banks in the last 15 months that have been taken over by the feds. Now, why did that happen? Why did they fail, Eddie? Well, the feds are raising the interest rates. You remember that Tier 1 money, the core reserve of the bank?
Yes.
They hold that reserve in bonds. And if they have low interest bonds and the feds raise the interest rate, the bonds go down in value, and there's a watermark there. So if they go below the watermark, they're insolvent. And the feds have killed their own banking members by their way that they're managing. Now they have come to the wall. The old saying, you paint yourself into the corner.
Yes.
They didn't just paint themselves into the corner, Eddie. They removed the floor. Right now, this whole thing is on the verge of collapse. And there are, and not me, there are well-known economists in America predicting in 2024 the biggest crash of all time since the Depression. Because this thing is they're running out of blocks to move around. They're running out of switches to throw.
They're running out of papers to print and arbitrarily say this is worth this.
They absolutely are, and that's the problem we have. The SVB Bank went down, and federal interest rates raising the rates kills business and jobs. That's their answer to inflation that was caused by them printing money. Mm-hmm. Hey, folks. If you don't understand this, you got to stand up and let it hit you in the chest because it's going over your head. And I know it can be complex. I try very hard to make it simple to understand. These people are not on our side. They want to take America down. This is all part of the World Economic Forum because America is the greatest country in the world. And we lead everything. As bad as it is right now, I hope and believe that it will get better. There is here. I'm gonna throw Jesus in this today. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him who believeth. And I talk about faith and belief to people all the time. Give me unto you power over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. In the Old Testament, I created you in my image with all power over all living things. Do you understand that?
West Africa's calling again.
And so we're gonna.
There is a part of me that really wants you to answer it and start talking.
It's just the power that you can create in your own mind.
Why don't more
Will
people
take
know?
you where you want to go. I didn't have this. It took a long time, Eddie. A lot of dedication and persistency in reading. Because when I started to I'd read the book and I'd say, "Okay, fix me."
Right.
You know, they told me to read the book, fix me. But it didn't fix me. What I came to realize after enough reading of books, you have to apply something else. You know what it's called?
What?
Action.
Action.
You have to do something.
You have to apply.
You have to
something.
start applying what you're doing. Verily, there is nothing right or wrong which belief plus burning desire cannot make real. These qualities are free to everyone. There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. And you know my little cards, I have a stack of these little cards. That's probably that big. As I read books, I would write little things out of the book.
That's good.
And then I would sit every day, and when I got up in the morning, and I'd sit at my desk down there before I jump in the shower, and I would sit and I would read these out loud to me every day. I wanted it so bad, Eddie. You have to want it that bad. And that's the difference between the majority of people. Is if you don't believe in something, you're not going to want it bad because I don't deserve it. Here's another. I don't deserve it. You keep measuring your past, and if you truly believe in Jesus Christ, in God above, He is a forgiving God. If you have asked for His forgiveness, and He has forgiven you, why do you continue to carry your old baggage, and you allow your old past to stop you from having a great future that He wants for all of us? And anyway, all right.
What do you mean?
Federal
No,
Reserve.
that was brilliant. I've got questions. How do you learn from your past and at the same time forgive yourself for your past?
We're human beings.
Okay.
We're human beings. Again, that higher power of God. There was an Easter time many years ago, and I sang in the choir in our church, Saints Peter and Paul in Beaver, that I belong to, and I cantor there, and I sing, but I only sing in church. I don't sing commercially outside that. But I remember an Easter being in the choir, and I don't know what it was. It was just a lightning bolt that hit me in my heart. Mm-hmm. When they were the readings that day, and it was like electric. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. Jesus' words on the cross. How do you not hear that? I didn't hear it for a lot of years, Eddie. I mean, it just, boom, there it was at that one moment in time when I was ready to hear it. How can I help you become ready to hear the message? And it's not just the message from God. God created us in His image with all power over all living things. There it is. In His image, you are godlike. And then there was another part of belief, because in sermons I've heard, God is with everybody. He's everywhere.
Right.
How can that be? Now, how can that be? And I come up with a Thomism, okay? This is my analogy. If you look at your body, Eddie, how many cells, individual cells, are in the human body? One human body. Trillions.
I was going to say trillions, right?
So who's to say that what we are the Lord's body? He feels every one of us. So He would be with each and every one of us if you and I are an individual cell in the Lord's body. Because they talk about the body of the church. Yeah.
I understand that.
And when I was awakened to that thought, it just made so much difference in what I was doing every day, and I know we're coming to the end. We're running out of time.
This always happens when you come by.
I know.
Tom Young, First Consultant's my guest. You can come by and fill up as many hours as you want to, anytime you want.
Let me wrap up with this. Who appears to be at fault?
Yeah, we like to know who to blame.
Okay, the Federal Reserve has announced the many may start to lower the interest rates. Now, we've already gone through that. The Fed deciding to lower the interest rates at this moment in time, instead of continuing to fight inflation and destroy business and jobs, okay, it's the decision for the well-being of the people or the well-being of their balance sheet that is in the red, because those low-interest bonds that they sit on, $8 trillion worth of low-interest bonds, and them raising the interest rate, didn't they wipe out a lot of their own net worth, their own value by raising interest rate, just like they have caused several banks to close over the last 18 months since this all started? So how can you and I, here's the closing question, how can you and I, Eddie, take the advice of those people from the financial, and I have all these initials after my name, COU, CHFC, RICP, RSA, CSA, and I've taken all these courses, and you know the one thing that I've learned about all those courses.
What?
They were very good at teaching me how to take control of your money away from you for them.
Tell people.
That's as direct as I can say it.
I think that's perfectly direct. I understood it.
Remember the 4 rules. I want all your money, more ongoing, keep forever, give back as little as possible. That keeps them in control of everything.
Tell people.
So we have to approach things in a very unique way. Come and see me. I'll make you 2 promises. I won't ask you to buy a thing, and it won't be a second meeting unless you desire it. But I challenge you to come and see me and have your mind open up to what is possible in your future. You can get to me, 724-728-6820, firstconsultantsinc.com on the website. Come and see me. I challenge you. I'd love to meet you. God bless.
Love to see you again, Tom.
The Lenten season is just around the corner, and Our Lady of the Valley Parish is inviting you to one of the best Lenten fish fries in the Valley at the St. Cecilia Hall on California Avenue in Rochester. The fish fries get underway on Friday, February the 16th, and will be every Friday throughout the Lenten season from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. They will have fish sandwiches, fried for $11 or baked for $12. Fish dinners are $13 and shrimp dinners are $14. There's also a Chesapeake Bay dinner for $15 that includes fish, shrimp, and crab cakes. Dinners also include coleslaw and a choice of French fries, mac and cheese, or pierogies. There's yummy pie for dessert, but that's a little bit extra. You can eat in, you can take out, or they'll deliver from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Credit cards are also accepted. Call 724-775-3775 or 724-709-7426.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Let's face it, work is a large part of your life. Why not choose a job that allows the opportunity of a fulfilling career working with people who appreciate you? St. Barnabas Health System is looking for extraordinary, service-minded people to join our team. Earn and learn with career opportunities on our clinical, housekeeping, and food service teams. For more information and to apply, visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-444-JOBS. Jobs that are apart from the ordinary. Find them at St. Barnabas Health System.
The place for news, sports, and entertainment. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and WBVP, live from the all-new Fry Transportation Studios.
St. Barnabas thanks you for listening to Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.